It's December. It's that time of year again where everyone is gearing up for their New Year's resolutions. They're wildly optimistic, dreaming about who they'll become. This year will be the year. And trust me, I've been there. I've written the same resolutions over and over, year after year, and by February, I'd be back to my old patterns, wondering why can't I change, what's wrong with me? But here's the truth. Part of you, not so deep down, knows that it's not going to stick. There's a hopeful, naive part that thinks, new year, clean slate, but you know that nothing is really going to change unless you change. And look, if you want a new car, a new body, a new aesthetic, whatever, keep scrolling. But if you stick with me for a few minutes, I think I can convince you that what you think you want isn't what you really want. Hi, I'm Maggie. Welcome to my channel. I make videos about living a joyful and meaningful life. Let's dive in. So I'm just going to cut to the chase. What you really want is self-love, to live with purpose, to have joy, inner peace, feeling like you have meaning. You're not chasing goals. You're chasing a feeling, a state of being. Every goal you think that you want, you're actually craving a particular feeling. So let's go deep right now. Ask yourself this question. How is it that you really want to feel? So, for example, if you want a new car and you have to go into debt to get that car, what is it that you think that car is going to give you? Perhaps it's status or confidence. If you want to lose 10 or 20 kilos, what do you think losing that weight will give you? Well, there's the obvious, vitality, but what else? Perhaps it's self-respect or self-trust or self-love. Maybe that will represent proof that you can do hard things and keep a promise to yourself. If you're looking for a new relationship, what do you think that's going to give you? It may be that you want to meet someone because you're really wanting to start a family, but sometimes it might actually be that you're craving the feeling of love, of safety, or of being chosen or being special. Bonjour. Hello. Editing Maggie here. Obviously, there's lots of wonderful things about relationships. I'm just simplifying this to make a point, so stick with me. But the truth is, those feelings are available to you right now, not after you get the car or lose the weight or someone chooses you. And if you're sitting there thinking, Maggie, I have no idea what it is that I want, let me say this to you. You might have been on autopilot for so long. The kids, the job, keeping everything together, the grind, and you haven't had space to ask yourself, what is it that you actually want to feel? What's missing? A beautiful way to gauge where you're really at with everything is this ancient piece of wisdom. We see the world as we are. So start paying attention. When you walk down the street and you interact with people, what's happening inside of you? If you find yourself judging everyone that you see, it actually might be some self-acceptance that you're craving. If you're frantic at the shops, just barreling through the checkout, not stopping to speak with anyone, say hi to anyone, maybe you're always choosing the self-checkout instead of the checkout with the person, if they even have those wherever you shop. If that's you, maybe stillness, maybe inner peace is what you're longing for. When you're talking with friends, are you really listening, or are you just waiting for them to stop talking so that you can say your piece? Because if that's the case, maybe it's actually curiosity and wonder that you'd like to bring into your life. What are your thoughts? We think the same thoughts over and over and over again. What are they? Maybe it's time to do a thought audit and write down what are the common things that you're thinking. These thoughts and your reactions to people, places, things external to you, they're a big clue to what's going on the inside. If you think that you can't trust people, where are you not honoring yourself, trusting yourself? When I was younger, I'm going to tell you an embarrassing story. When I was younger, I've said this before in other videos, I came out of the womb jealous. Abandonment has been a core wound that I have worked on in this life. And I had this boyfriend for a couple of years in high school. He was a very, very lovely person. Anyway, when I was 17, we lived in a country town. I went to Melbourne to visit my dad and I was away a fortnight. And I was so anxious that whole time. I was so worried he was going to go out with his mates and find someone else and cheat on me. One night, it was a Saturday night, and I was particularly anxious because I knew that he would be out at the pub with his basketball mates because they had a game. And this was in the early 90s, so it was before mobile phones. And I rang the pub. I literally rang the pub, and I won't say his name. Let's say it's John Smith. So I rang the pub and I spoke to the bartender and said, "Can I speak to John Smith?" And they were like, "John Smith? Is John Smith here?" in this packed out country pub. And so my boyfriend gets on the phone. He's like, "Hello?" And I'm like, "Hi, it's me." I had not thought ahead at all. I was just like, I just need to talk to him. He was like, what's going on? Are you okay? What do you want? And I'm like, "Oh, nothing." Insane. Anyway, that was the extent of the paralyzing feelings of anxiety and jealousy. Now, so the interesting thing is, working on this in my life, I've come to realize something. I'm not actually afraid that they will leave me. The fear was, can I trust myself? Can I trust myself to have strong boundaries, to not abandon myself, to only accept being treated well? If I can trust myself to do that, there's no worry, there's no fear. My inner child wants to make sure that she's safe with me, not with the boyfriend or whoever. Your inner child needs to know that you've got them. Another example is, for years, I thought one of my biggest core values, apart from love, is freedom. I really wanted to be a digital nomad. I still kind of do, but freedom to come and go to whatever, And I realized fairly recently, actually, that what I'm actually really craving is inner peace, is to not have a busy mind, to know that I love myself so much that there's no beating myself up. There's no self-flagellation. I did a podcast about that. I'll link it in the description. No self-flagellation, that I am just 100% here for myself. So there's peace up here. And I don't need to be anywhere or be doing anything in particular to have that peace. Could you imagine if I just hustled and hustled and hustled to create a life where I earned enough money that I had this idea of freedom without doing any more investigation? I could have worked myself into a grave, into a heart attack or a lot of stress, because I thought that I needed a certain amount of money to be free. However, actually, right here, right now, I'm free. Morning, Editing Maggie here. I just want to clarify that there's nothing wrong with working really hard and going after your goals. That's what I do. My point is that we need to be sure that we're going after our goals for the right reason, and it's not to fill some hole inside of us that if we just had a look at, we could save ourselves all this time and hassle. Because that kind of freedom no one can take from me. Only I can take that from me. And there's plenty of incredible examples in history of people like that. Nelson Mandela being in prison, and the freedom that he gave himself in these terrible circumstances. He could have been completely bitter and jailed, not only physically but in here, but he was free in here. There's so many examples like that. I saw an incredible clip the other day with Maya Angelou, and basically she said, "I do not trust anyone who does not love themselves. I would never be with anyone who does not love themselves. Someone who doesn't love themselves is like someone offering you their shirt when they're naked." Let that sink in. How powerful is that? And I know Whitney Houston, greatest love of all, brilliant, brilliant song. I mean, we all know it. You have to learn to love yourself before you can love anyone. But I love that Maya Angelou quote, because if you're in a relationship and you don't love yourself, you're going to be jealous. You're going to be possessive. You're going to have poor boundaries. You're going to play these manipulation games, passive aggressiveness, the silent treatment. All of this comes out of not loving the self. We see the world as we are. And if you've been repeating these same patterns for years and years and years, don't worry, you're not broken. You're just disconnected from yourself, and you absolutely can reconnect to yourself. So, before you write your list of New Year's resolutions, sit quietly for a moment, hand on your heart, close your eyes, go within, ask yourself, what feeling am I really craving? Everything you want will come out of connecting to self. And if you're craving real change, the kind that comes from who you're becoming and not just from what you're achieving, my colleague and sister, Cathy, and I have created a signature group coaching program in 2026 to help you achieve the deep, lasting change that you're craving. Cathy is a success coach. I'm a habit and inner transformation coach, and we're going to go deep into habits, identity, emotional patterns to transform you from the inside out. If you'd like more information, or if you'd like to join our waitlist, there's a link in the description, or you can email me at hello@theinspiredcoach.com.au. Or if you're wanting more immediate, personalised support, I've opened up some one-on-one spots. I've got a Christmas special, 25% off. Link is in the description. I'd love to support you. And don't forget, like, share, comment, subscribe, all the things. Do follow me on Instagram. And much love, guys. Have a beautiful festive season. Mwah. And by February, the mozzies are insane. Oh my goodness. Mozzies.
Like and subscribe.